Hello, my name is David Sarinana. It is a pleasure to be here with a good friend and colleague of mine. We go back many, many years. I'd like to welcome Mr. David Bravo. David Bravo, so nice to
Thank you,
have you.
David. I
Welcome.
appreciate it. Thank you very
Welcome.
much. Yes,
Welcome.
going back into the I guess the 70s, right? When I got my license, you were at Monte Vista, and I was across the street at Dynamic Brokers many decades ago. So we're
A
approaching
couple years
40
ago.
years. Yes.
And I always tell people that we were 5 years old, right? Isn't that true?
Yeah, right
They used to
around there.
license people at that age at that time.
Exactly. At that time.
And it's not often that you get two people like us together, after so many years in the business, and so I want to talk about a few elements that I believe have brought success to our lives, and knowing that success is not just financial abundance, but it's success in all things, having peace of mind and having good relationships, and knowing that you have done your best for your clients and the service that you provided.
Absolutely. Yes.
And so let's start with the name. How important? Because I know that some of the agents that are watching this, they're some of them are new, some of them have been in the business 5, 10, 15 years, and I don't know if they're able to project themselves into the future and say, you know what, in 30 years I'm still going to be here, and whatever I do today is going to have an effect on how people view me and how they view my services. Let's talk about that, the protection of the name, of the integrity of doing what you promised to do. How has that impacted your life? And going back and now seeing now in the year 2017 the fruits of that seed of good service and good name.
Well, I guess being blessed with the last name of Bravo, you always have to live up to those expectations. And the my dad was a bartender for many years, and he used to show me his varicose veins from his ankles. And he says, "I'm working hard for you, son, to put you to school and feed you and stuff like that." So, and he says, "I always give good service to the customers. Always make the customer feel like they're number one, and this way you're never number two." I got that from you many moons ago. Again, the name. If somebody mentions, our last name in the mix, right away, it becomes a family affair where my kids are my legacy, and they will project certain values that I try to give them when they were young. When my daughters, my sons, and tell them, hey, are you the same person that you were when, let's say they're 12 years old, are you the same person that you were when you were 9 years old? Do you look at 9 year old different? Do you hang around with 9-year-old kids? And they say, oh no, Dad, and I said, give yourself the latitude, because you're going to change. You're going to be 21, you're going to be 30, you're going to be 35, you're going to start hitting the 40s, and a certain, momentum and a certain quality has to be associated. You always have to try your best. Always have to try your best. There's no substitute for hustle. Pete Rose from the Cincinnati Reds back in the Big Red Machine. I
The
know
70s.
in the 70s, yeah, Pete Rose, even though he's been expelled from the Hall of Fame, they call him Mr. Hustle. And I used to admire him, just the way he ran the bases, and he got up to bat and he was like, come on,
Even when he
bring
got to
it.
walk, right? He would run to
Yes,
first
he
base.
would run to first base, So certainly the qualities that you try and instill in yourself, and also with your children and your grandchildren, also you try to teach them values. There's no substitute for hustle. You may be, not the sharpest kid on the block, but that your boss will notice that the hustle, and your sincerity, if you have the passion for it, there's no substitute. Give me somebody that hustles versus a person that has a doctorate degree in sociology, but give me a person that hustles. I'll take that person that hustles.
And one of the things, and I've shared this with you, that I admired about you is the job that you have done with your family. So a lot of parents think that they can lead from behind, that they can say, "Hey, go do it. You be like this and be truthful and work hard," but they never do it. And so kids, they listen to the words, but between the words and the action, there's a big gap. There's no consistency. But I have seen you throughout all these years lead by example.
That was, when you have six kids and they
Six kids, huh?
six kids and they're always hungry and they always need
They
shoes.
all
There's
want to
always
eat, right?
motivation, and you're just one step away from a chapter 13 or a chapter 7, and you can't just let down and just roll over and put the cobija over your head and go, oh, I'll wait till tomorrow. I'll wait till tomorrow. No, it happens right now. And
So tell me this, David. I've never
yes.
asked you this. When you, because I remember very clearly, we're in the city of Bell on Atlantic and Beck. You remember, you're taking your kids into the office. They were running around. I mean, they're not really running around. They're actually very well behaved. Yes, well behaved. And what how did you come up with that? Was it something that you needed to do because you don't have anybody to take care of them, or was it a strategy that you came up with? Was it a plan? Tell me exactly how that came
It
about.
was by necessity. I didn't have anybody to take care of him. I did want to show him what dad does. I was going through a divorce at that particular time. So cuando me toca los días, I would have him. And I just didn't want to stay home and watch Barney with him. And I wanted to take him out in the field and kind of show him. And I gave him motivation. I said, if you get so many property profiles, so many farms, then you're going to get a reward at the end of the week, either a skateboard, maybe
A shake.
milkshake at Lucky Boys on Firestone, or baseball cards, football cards. During that time, there were the raves. So I kind of took them under my wing, and it was by necessity. I didn't want to just leave them while I was working. I wanted them to be a big part of their lives. We shared in joint physical custody when the divorce was final, but I wanted to not just have them stay at home. I wanted them to come out and see what dad did. The plumber.
It's interesting.
Yeah, a plumber will, take his kids out, and maybe 1 out of 6 will be a plumber. But fortunately, right now, there's 4 out of 6 that are in the same business. So, very proud. Take that to the pillow every day, and count my blessings. Count my blessings. Yes.
And you and your kids as a family have impacted this the real estate industry. I think that
Very.
you're more famous than Obama and Trump put together. Everybody knows the Bravo family, and people speak highly of all of you because of the commitment that you have shown throughout the years. Because it isn't just like one time, but it is a consistency of it's a behavior, a conduct, a way of doing things, and that was one of the greatest things that you could ever done.
Yeah, very, very blessed by that. Again, not only tell them what they should do, but it's lead by example. Lead by example, and again, as far as the being famous in the area and stuff like that, we do have some notoriety. We do have some.
I want your autograph before you leave, by the way, because I want to make sure
No problem. We'll exchange, okay?
that
Because you
exchange.
definitely have a place in the history of Montebello, Beverly Boulevard, and also the Southeast Board. One thing I wanted to bring up, I remember when we were just starting that the Southeast Board would not let us present the offers to the seller. Remember that?
I remember that.
They would like, who are these bad people? They're so bad. They want to sell the property by themselves.
And we ended up here.
And we ended up here, right in the middle of, smack dab in the middle of
Well, you
this.
can't beat them. You got to join them,
Yes,
right?
absolutely, absolutely. It's funny how God just kind of, messes with us and throws the dice out on us every day and say, "What are you going to do? What are you going to? How are you going to play that hand? How are
This
you going
takes me to
that
another
hand?"
thing that I wanna talk about, David, because again, we're like the people from old school. That's what they probably how they see us, they view us. But I believe that there's a lot of values that we have held on to that have helped us achieve the success that we have achieved, and one of those is taking care of our relationships, and I read a book many years ago that said that everything is temporary, right? The good feelings are temporary, the bad feelings are temporary. Sometimes we don't realize that. The client gets upset, but he's only upset for a little bit of time. Call
Correct.
him; it's okay. He's going to be okay,
Correct. Let them vent.
right?
Let them
And
vent.
but we've been able to maintain that respect and that relationship. We've had our challenges, right? And
Yes.
and we've had challenges with other people, but we've been able to maintain that relationship. And I want you to tell us, tell our viewers here the importance of making sure that we take care of people, and that we respect people, because we don't know what's going to happen in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Now we're like 30 years or 38 years, 39 years after, or 40
Yeah.
years after, right?
Values still
and,
hold
and
the
we're
same.
we're still harvesting the respect that we showed 40 years ago.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. My mom used to, when we used to go to somebody's house, my mom always used to take a bottle of wine or some potato salad or macaroni salad, something, a bowl of pozole, something also. So when you're in somebody's house, you always treat them with honor because you're a guest in their house. And that's the same way that I've taught my kids. When you come into somebody's office, hey, you're a guest in their office. So respect that. And don't be a flake. Don't be a flake. If somebody calls you and needs your assistance or just advice on another transaction, hey, we got this going on. How can we manage to close it? Piggybacking again, we sold real estate. I sold real estate for 11 years also. So I know from a title standpoint, we hardly ever see the seller or the buyer. But I know for a fact that they're behind the scenes and they're waiting to close their transaction. And if there's a glitch, an uninsured deed, or something that we can help as far as underwrite the file and get the deal closed, I mean, that's, again, you make everybody's life happy. Everybody, the agent, the escrow. We were just talking about it in a mastermind with Vinny Salcedo. And, how many people, when you close a transaction, how many people have you impacted financially and give them a piece of that pie? And it starts off from customer service with the property profiles, the farms, things of that nature, the escrow officer, the title officer, the real estate agents, of course. Okay, number one, they're on top of the on top of the pyramid. The title reps,
Insurance,
insurance,
termite.
termite, and we came up with about 75 people that you impact on one transaction. On one transaction. So again, it's the wisdom that, because it comes with age and experience, that I know somebody else is behind the scenes. And once we close this transaction, they're going to need paint from Home Depot. They're going to need brushes. They're going to need this, and the impact that it has on our economy. And it's a good thing. And you throw out the good karma out there, it'll come back to you.
Yeah, you sow the good seed, and it always comes back.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um,
Little mustard seed always helps.
you're what, first generation, second generation?
Second generation. Second
So
generation.
your parents were born here?
Well, my dad, after he told me, actually first generation, because they were both from Sonora.
Okay.
And they migrated without papers, and I still have my dad's green card when he became naturalized back in the 40s. And my mom also, they came over. He was a truck driver, bartender. My mom was a waitress. They met at La Carioca restaurant on First and Soto in East Los Angeles.
That was my next question. Where did you grow up?
I was born in Boyle Heights on Forest in Brooklyn. Now, Cesar Chavez, of course, spent my first 3 years there. Then my mom and dad had a restaurant, very, very tough on them, 12, 15 hours a day, very, very tough. So they sold that and moved to further east on Whittier and Downey Roads on Verona Street, right by the Calvary Cemetery. Went to Catholic school for the first 6 years, and then
Was that still Los Angeles? East
yes,
LA?
East Los Angeles, unincorporated area.
Oh, okay.
Unincorporated.
Whittier and
Downey Roads by Calvary.
Okay,
Calvary
okay.
Cemetery.
Oh yeah, I know exactly where that is.
Me and the guys in the block, we used to go bike riding in the cemetery. They used to chase us out, and we'd ha 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 ha, and do the old.
So as a kid, did you ever foresee this? Did you ever dream about this life that you would have?
At that particular point, nobody in the public school or even in the Catholic school had a class on real estate 101 or title 101.
Or success 101?
Or success, or, being a good person, hustling. But God moves in very mysterious, but once again, if you earn that, He'll put you in positions, opportunities like that. And again, you have to move. You have to look for those opportunities. And coming out of Garfield High School, asked me what I wanted to be, a professional football player, and went to East LA College. And old girlfriend back then gave me a book. I knew I wasn't going to make pros, so she gave me a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And at 19 years old, I read that and really, really made a difference. And it gave me a manual, a life manual on how to succeed.
So that was
by
your first
helping
experience
others.
with this new mindset.
New mindset, absolutely, yeah. And then I just kind of took it over there.
Did you play for East LA College?
East LA College, yeah, for 2 years. Walked on to UCLA and met my first wife there at the bus stop at UCLA, and in about 3 months we were married, and and God blessed us with the first child within a year. So after that, again, the mouths to feed. You have motivation. I was working as a butcher apprentice. I was ready to go on the table and make like $15 an hour, which was very
That
good
was
money.
that was good
Yes.
money back then.
$15 an hour. I think the minimum wage was like $2.75 or $3, something like that. So, unfortunately, they had a slowdown and they laid me off the Friday before Christmas, 1976, I believe. And at that time, I had 2 children and one on the way. Danny was on the way, and
How old were you at that time?
at that time, 24, 23, 24. My brother-in-law had just sold us a house a year before and then listed and sold us a listing that he had. So he made like 35, maybe 100, maybe about $4,000 in a matter of 2 years. And me looking for a job, I said, heck, I can do real estate. If my brother-in-law can do that, I can do it better. I can do it better. Not to boast. And but started with that. Just bought the Apprentice Hall, California Preparation for Real Estate Exam. Remember the thick book? No computers, no nothing. You just had to study. You just had to study. Fortunately,
Did you pass the first time?
Missed it by 2 questions. Missed it by 2 questions. Okay, so
So
more determining.
So you remember that at that time they would not let you know right away, so you had to wait.
Yes. Yeah, right away.
So it was either a postcard or an envelope, right?
Yes. I forget what the postcard mean that you didn't or pass, right?
Exactly.
And the letter was congratulations.
Yeah,
It
and
was
the applications and all that.
Yes, yeah. So that's where I got my roots and my first.
What year was that?
1977, 78. First broker that I worked for was Carlos Ortega on Beverly Boulevard.
I remember Carlos.
Carlos, I think he's still around, and got my license. He said, here's some blank cards, write your name in, okay, and go out there and knock on some doors. And that's what I did. Very fortunate. Again, there's a saying in Sonora that que Dios cuida a los tontos. I got a listing the first day. So I said, hey, this is...
I could do this.
Okay, you go knock on doors, go hustle a little bit, and he'll reward you. The good karma, the good feeling will reward you.
People sometimes don't understand the value and the power of consistency. They give up very easily. And for our viewers, you're looking at a couple of people here that amongst them we have over maybe
almost 40. I think in June it'll be 40 years.
So almost 80 years of experience in this business.
Yes.
And one thing that, with all the flaws that we might have, one thing I'm certain is that we have been consistent, right? We have been there, rain or shine, easy, hard. We have been there, and then we have taken the blows, and then we have managed to move forward.
How many corrections have we gone through in the market, Dave, since the 80s, since the 70s, actually, when interest rates went... I remember when I first got my license, the Herald Examiner had a big front page headline. It said, home interest rates hit 10%. And I go, oh my God, what have I done, But,
Yeah, I bought my second, my second home, my second property, new home there in the city of Rosemead. I was paying 16.75% interest rate. So I understand that not just from an agent's perspective or a real estate professional perspective, but from a consumer. I was
Yep.
paying 16 and three quarters, and I think it went up to almost 17 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And we were
Yes.
still selling.
And we're still selling.
Ordering.
There's always going to need a need for a buyer to buy and a seller that has to
That's when
sell.
the famous AITDs came into play.
All in
And
AITDs, all inclusive deeds of trust with subordination clauses. Okay, they don't know. They don't know.
they don't know land contracts.
Oh, 10% down, owner will carry. You know, we whatever it took, we, you know, the
And it's
consistency.
adjusting to the conditions of the market and not giving up. Things are going to change, and that's
Correct.
life. Life changes, and we got to be able to change with life.
So we had a correction in the early 80s, a correction in the 90s, a correction in 2007, 2008. So there's been corrections, but again, you know, jumping on the bandwagon as far as consistency, you know, there's going to be business out there. There's going to be business out there. It's just up to you to go find it. Just go find it. And you know, again, your actions and your hustle and your ability to communicate with people, having them entrust you with their business, either through a listing or signing the purchase contract or signing a counter offer. Come on, don't be afraid. You know, if you don't sign that counter offer, what's the option going to be for you? You're going to go back to renting. You know, so again, good closing lines, not closing lines, but trying to encourage people to, you know, sign on the dotted line and take the chance. So
And I tell the agents now that more and more our approach to our customers have to go from selling to consultative approach, where we're give them the options so they can get to choose the best option for them, instead of us trying to push down what we want for them to do. But at the end of the day, by providing the service, by meeting their needs, we are going to meet our own needs. And it is like, you make them number one, you're never number two.
Yeah.
When you look back, David, your 40 years of experience in this beautiful industry, because it is a beautiful industry, even with all its challenges.
The best.
What are the things that stick up the most, the things that have brought you more joy and bigger lessons? What would those things be?
In the business, I guess meeting and working with people as a title rep. Your C21, a better service in Bell Gardens was one of my first offices that I came to know, and you guys accepted me. John Martinez Sr. was the preferred one at that particular time. But but I kept on coming in, and John kind of just kept on, fading out, and starting off with a young lad. He must have been 19, 20 years old, and Lorenzo Espinosa's, the Paul Morales's, the Carlos Hernandez's,
Ramon Estrada. I don't know if you remember him.
Ramon Estrada, yes,
yeah.
Ramon Estrada, and going through the years now, Western Realty, Russ Kogar, at the time the broker there, another Hall of Famers out of that particular office. Working with lenders, Tom Ramirez at American Savings, Washington Mutual, Home Savings, great champions.
They're still around.
They're still around, and you have this second and third and fourth generations that now they've graduated, and working with some people from All Stars. There's just some great champions out there. Great champions. And I guess that's what I get a kick out of. It gives me pleasure, and I can sleep well. And when we close a deal, we had one with Gabriel Diaz about 5-6 years ago that was number one on my list of 35 years, in a sense, and we closed it, and it gave me a good feeling. Raquel downstairs at the escrow officer was like, you're really going to do this. And it was a challenge. It was a challenge to me. We had a buyer, we had a seller, and we had some stuff going on with the title, and we had to get cleared, some Liz pendants and things of that nature. And I still get a kick out of it.
When you look back, there's either some people or some transactions that were major experiences, right?
Major.
That
Major.
That they will never go away. They stick in your
Exactly,
to you, right?
exactly, and I still with Fernando Moreno here, we've closed some deals in the past. There were great transactions, and we're still doing that. I know Danny, working with your office, and my daughter and my son working with All Stars. There's and nothing, it's not just a piece of cake every day. It's like challenges, old deeds of trust that never got reconveyed for 100 grand. What are we going to do? And da 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 da. So there's still a kick that I get out of him.
You
Get
know,
out, and it's a
you
rush.
remember Oliver, right? Oliver Galicia.
Oliver Galicia,
So I
yes.
started with Oliver, and I remember his first words to me. He says, "David," he goes, you might not make any money in real estate, but you'll never get bored." And he was right. He was right. Every transaction is it's an adventure, and you might think that you already know that because after so many years and after so many transactions. In my case, as an agent and also as a broker.
Correct.
But no, I mean everything is new. I mean, there's always new elements to every transaction, and you have to look at them differently. Um,
The people that you come across, how many people have stopped you and say, David, Sariana, ¿te acuerdas de nosotros de
oh my goodness,
1985?
yeah.
And you can see the face, but the name, and those are the happy times. Those are the happy times.
Yeah, the times that I get nervous is when they come to me and says, "David, how are you? You remember me?" I said, "Oh my Lord!" I go, "You know what? To be honest with you, I don't." He goes, "I work for you." See, those are, oh my
Ooh.
God, you really work for me. Who is you, right? But no, we've been around for a while. There's hundreds and hundreds of agents that have come through my operation.
You've
Let
impacted
me ask you, you work everywhere, right? You work with a lot of different offices. Do you know many offices that have, because we are blessed here to have a group of people that have been with me for 30 years, 28, 29 years. You have the Victor Hernandez, the Steven Padilla, the Fernando Moreno. Uh, I mean, it's a whole bunch of people that have been for over 20 years. Is that like something?
You get probably about 10% of the agents that do come across, and they've been there for years. Um, you know, the offices that, looking back, the Galindo Realty is not there anymore. Bell Realty, who was big, AP Lopez, who was big, Western Realty, who was big. They've all faded away, but it seems like you've held some good roots in this area, in the southeast, and my hats off to you, literally, because you've sustained that. And again, the loyalty that you develop, and once again, you're a father figure to these agents when they come in, and you kind of bring them in and you kind of mold them if they want to be molded. You're
Right,
always
right,
going to
exactly.
get that maverick that hey, I'm going to go to Remax, or I'm going to go to. Do we service any Remax accounts? We don't. But but the loyalty that comes in, with, and the gratitude, and I see that at All Stars with some agents that have been there for years, since day one with Joe. So it's from your perspective, and let's say All Stars perspective, it's rare, but you get that quality and you get that relationship that you build, okay, with your agents, and nothing can, or it shouldn't. Nothing, even if they offer them 100%. Remember those days? I'll give you
Oh
100%,
yeah.
and I'll give you a cut of the escrow fee, and da 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 da. But
Half of my office,
you know, you know, and
my car. You can take it.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
So there's definitely something of value that you, and of wisdom that you bring to your agents and to the agents that I work with, and give them a sense of confidence. Hey, it's going to be all right. And encouragement. When they're down, I remember Stephen Padilla, he got pulled over with some friends on Pacific Boulevard at the Bell Gardens office. Again, this is the 70s. And he was telling me, you know what, I'm going to quit this business. We were just checking property and blah blah blah, and these cops, and I'm going to quit this business. And I said, come on, Steve, shake it off. Don't get down on yourself. Don't get down on yourself. And look at what Steve's done. Tremendous.
So
One of the
we're
greats,
we're
Hall of Famer.
we're mentors, teachers, encouragers. I mean, we have to be everything, right? And I think that because of being blessed and having been in this industry, in this business for so long, it is expected of us, I believe, to continue to set a good example and
If
continue to have words of wisdom, based on
correct.
some of the errors that we made in the past.
Exactly.
Right. So
Wisdom that
what
we
what
can
what
share.
what would you tell David, those young Mavericks that are watching this and they said, man, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna, set the world on fire in the next couple of weeks, and if things don't work out, and then they get discouraged and they say, oh, maybe this is not for me. What is the advice? What is the advice that you would give these people on how to achieve long term success in this industry?
Um, Again, you have to have the passion for it. You have to have the stomach for it. Um, you have to have the persistence and the belief in yourself and your confidence in what you're selling is probably one of the greatest products and investments that your customers, as far as real estate is concerned. I bought my first house for 24.5. It's probably worth now in East LA for at least 350, 375. So the people that you do help out, you're positioning themselves in for retirement in a sense, for their future. You're just not selling a home. I'm sorry, not just selling the house, but you're selling them a home. You're going to have Christmas, you're going to have New Year's, you're going to have birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Easter, Thanksgiving there. This is where all your memories that your customers are going to have, the buyers of the property. The buyers of the property. As far as words of wisdom, the year 2030 is going to come along. 2035, 2040, I probably won't be here. You will probably be here. But, again, the young guys, the young Mavericks that are coming in, they have to look at it as a long-term, career. And every year, go to the Mike Ferries, go to the Tom Ferries, go to the Tony Robbins, get yourself educated, invest in yourself, invest in yourself.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
important. That's very important.
yes.
So I'm so happy that you made the time, David, to be here with us, and I have a lot of love and respect for you, and I am
Same
very
here.
proud of what you have achieved, and I'm very proud of the work that you've done with your kids, with your family, and the work that you've done in our industry. You're one of those very special people that have contributed to a good real estate industry in our marketplace. And
Uh,
I'm very thankful for that, and thankful for our relationship.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're again, we're the elder statesmen of the industry, and we're in the sixth decade of our lives, right? Are you 60 or are you 55? Okay,
35, going
35. So
I was actually
you know,
64 years old.
again, for the young guys that are out there and thinking, well, what is this? I've closed 3 or 4 deals this month. What should I do? You just carry that momentum. Carry that momentum. Because if you don't, believe me, some other guy or lady will come right behind you and steal that listing that you should have had. That you should have had.
Some people slow down in December because they think that people don't want to do anything, that they want to wait till January. And those of us that understand that's not the case, especially now with this new uh, changes in the law, right? People
Hmm.
that actually do things today are going to have a greater benefit, real estate benefit on their taxes. So no, no, don't slow down. This
Don't
is
slow
not the
down.
time to slow down. This is the time to finish this year strong, so where you can start 2018 strong and be the best that you can be. So, David, before we say goodbye to our audience, uh, I think we're going to do something that I wasn't even aware that we're going to do this, but we have some of our kids here, and my wife is here, and just so people know that this is truly a family affair, right? With you and I, it's a family affair.
Absolutely, yes.
And so you're going to get to meet some of David's children. So let's start with Danny. Danny, welcome. Danny,
Thank you very
welcome.
much.
I'm going to stand next to you, Dad.
Papa Bravo.
Yeah, Danny Bravo. And we have Socorro, I'm sorry. Socorro Bravo.
My twin.
Are you
We call
twins?
each other twins.
Oh,
14 months apart.
14 months apart.
welcome.
We froze his egg. We froze his egg.
And then, of course, I have the mother of my pollitos, my wife, Blanca
Mrs. Sarinana.
Sarinana.
Jackie.
Sarinana.
Jackie Onassis.
Thank you. Right here. And we have a few of our kids here. I have Jessica, our oldest, right? And David.
David off.
And we have Caroline.
Rainbow.
And we have one missing, but we're all... and like I said, this is truly a family affair. Just like David, you used to bring your kids. I used to bring my kids. Most of them kind of grew up. No, oh, you did. Okay, well, I just got corrected. My wife used to bring them. As a matter of fact, I think we used to have like the cribs here, no, or something
In the office?
In the office, the playpen in the office
For Caroline.
just for Caroline.
My dad would pay us 25 cents for a property profile and 50 cents for each farm package that we got off the agents here. So
And
that's
then-
how we earned our summer money.
Did you also get, you were talking about a milkshake or something?
From Lucky Boys. They went out of business.
There's McDonald's.
Oh, man.
That was our big reward, a Lucky Boy hamburger. Good
So-
memories. Good memories.
So again, thank you so much. I know that we're all really busy, but I think that this is like very precious, very, very important time in our history and in our industry. And thank you for being here. And we're just excited about the next 40 years, David. Come on. Next
Did you
40
wanna
years,
make
David.
The formal introduction of Bravo Title 2020.
I bought lotto tickets last night.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Bravo
All right.
Title coming.
There you go. I like that. So that you heard it from the Bravo family. The Bravo family.
No.
Bravo family. And so thank you again for your patience and we hope that the words that you heard today were a blessing to you and to your business and to your own family affairs. And again, life continues.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Merry
Merry Christmas to all of you.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Year and happy tax cut.
There you go. All right. Yes.